So key points today is that good nutrition can result in decreased side effects. So you really need to watch your weight, eat right, so know which foods to choose more often to keep your body well nourished, and eat smart. And that's just knowing little tricks on how to cope with the different side effects of treatment that you might be faced with. So watching your weight is really important, and often during treatment and after surgery especially, your nutritional needs are actually elevated, so you do need more protein, more calories than normal. So you need to be aware of where your weight is when you start treatment or before surgery, so that you don't all of a sudden say, oh wow, I've lost about 10 pounds. Because a 10-pound difference, even though you think that you could lose or stand to lose 10 pounds, it can significantly impact your body's ability to heal and how you respond to your treatment. So you need to be aware of your weight. So 40 to 80% of cancer patients are malnourished, but it definitely depends on what cancer group that you fall into. Some are definitely more at risk than others. But nonetheless, malnourished cancer patients respond poorly to treatments and have increased risk of complications. So what are the benefits of healthy eating? It provides energy to combat fatigue, so it fuels your body. It improves immune function to help fight infection. Your immune system is quite sensitive to lack of nutrition, so as soon as you start eating poorly, your immune system will be compromised, so you want to try to eat the best you can. It promotes healing and recovery from treatment and surgery, and it prevents muscle wasting and maintains strength. So what happens when you're not eating enough calories and protein, but your body is requiring more? Your body will break down your stored muscle mass. So your large muscles in your legs and your arms tend to wither away quite quickly during times of stress after surgery and during treatment. So now we're going to talk about how to eat right. So this is a copy of the latest Canada's Food Guide, and I believe there is somewhere here, over there, you have access to a copy of your own. This Canada's Food Guide has been developed for all healthy Canadians aged 4 years or 2 years and older. So if you're going through treatment and you're feeling pretty good and your appetite is good, I would encourage you to follow Canada's Food Guide as it is, because it's a great way to ensure that you're getting all the essential nutrients that you need during the day and to be healthy. Overall. However, if you are struggling with your weight, you've lost a lot of weight, you're not able to eat very much at one time, you need to modify Canada's Food Guide somewhat to make every mouthful count and to get as many calories in as possible and protein. This is what you find on the inside of the Canada's Food Guide. This is one of the improvements they'd made when they recently updated it. They've just made it more user-friendly, so it's a lot easier to determine what your actual needs are depending on your age and your sex. So now I'm going to go through each food group, and I'm going to give you some suggestions on how to maximize your protein and energy intake. So fruits and vegetables are definitely one of the best food groups out there. We know that choosing lots of fruits and vegetables can really positively impact our health. They're a great source of antioxidants, phytochemicals, vitamins, and minerals, and it doesn't matter whether they're fresh, frozen, canned, or juiced. They're all good for us. Certainly depends on what type of year. Often in the winter months, frozen or canned is going to be more economical, and they can be more nutritious than the fresh. So you allow yourself to choose the frozen or canned if need be. And during treatment, you may need to change the texture of your fruits and vegetables just to allow yourself to eat more of them. For example, if you're struggling with a sore, dry mouth, it's going to be difficult to chew those fresh vegetables. So you want to allow yourself to have the softer canned version or pureed version as need be. The vegetables and fruit are naturally high in fiber and low in calories, and certainly not a good source of protein. So when you don't have much of an appetite, you can risk filling up on them without offering your body much calories and protein. But by no means am I suggesting that you need to avoid these foods. You just need to change the way you're eating them. So instead of eating a plain apple or banana, you want to put some peanut butter on it or some kind of a nut butter, or add your favorite fruits into a high-protein, high-calorie shake or smoothie so that you can get some extra energy, but still the goodness and the fiber from the fruits. Or slice up your favorite fruit and put it into cereal or mix it into a higher-calorie yogurt. So yeah, you get those goodnesses there. Moving on to the grain products, this is the food group that provides the carbohydrates that fuel your body, and this is just a good selection of the different grain products and their recommended servings. So they are a great source of fiber and nutrients in the whole grain varieties, and I would encourage you to choose the whole grain varieties as best possible so that you reap the benefits of all the extra fibers. But certainly sometimes during treatment, if you're experiencing lots of diarrhea, you may temporarily have to cut back on your fiber intake to help with the diarrhea. These foods are naturally higher in they're naturally a drier food, so you may, with a dry mouth during treatment, find that you need to add extra moisture. So extra sauces, soups, and gravies and spreads are going to give you extra moisture to make it easier to chew and swallow. And this will also give you those extra calories that you more than likely will need as well. With the milk group, this is actually the easiest food group to sneak in extra calories simply by choosing the higher fat varieties. So we have it pretty well ingrained in our heads that we need to be choosing the low-fat dairy products. But certainly during treatment or post-surgery when you need extra nourishment, extra calories, simply choosing the whole milk or half and half whipping cream or even or half and half cream or whipping cream and putting those into different soups and into your cereals instead of regular low-fat milk is a really good way of adding more energy into your diet without increasing the volumes of food required. A really inexpensive way to add more protein into your diet is choosing the dry milk powder. You can buy a big bag of it for a fairly inexpensive price and mix it into different dairy products, like an existing glass of milk for a high protein milk. You can put it in your cream soups or your yogurts to make a higher protein yogurt. Meats and alternates, this is a very important food group because it is a great source of protein. However, it seems to be the more challenging food group for a lot of our patients simply because of the taste changes that a lot of people experience during treatment. The most popular taste alteration that we find is a bitter metallic taste, so red meats become quite difficult to eat. You could try marinating your meat in a tart citrusy marinade to help mask that taste. Or eat with plastic utensils because a metal spoon or fork is just going to accentuate that metallic taste. Or you can just leave the red meats for now and choose the whiter meats like chicken, turkey. Fish is great because it's nice and soft. Canned fish is great because you can put extra mayonnaise or Miracle Whip into it to add more calories, more moisture for a good high-protein food. But this is a really important food group because proteins are the building blocks for new healthy tissue cells and needed to help maintain a healthy, strong immune system. Other sources that you can try other than the meats are eggs. And there's so much you can do with eggs. You can hard boil them up and keep them in your fridge for a quick, easy snack and chop them up real finely and sprinkle them into soups and casseroles and make them into a sandwich for a nice, moist protein food. You can add eggs into your soup when you're cooking your eggs. You can add eggs into your mashed potatoes just to add more protein there. Nuts and seeds, all those are great foods to have more often. And any of the nut spreads. There's so many different types of nut butters out there to experiment with. If regular peanut butter is not your favorite, you can try almond butter, walnut butter, soy butter. They're all quite good and very good sources of healthy fats and protein. Beans and lentils are also a good alternate. Really easy to eat. You overcook them a little bit so that you don't have to chew them very much, and you can sneak them into soups and casseroles and pasta sauces for a really high source of protein and good source of fiber as well. So now we're going to move on to how to eat smart. So talking about the different strategies for coping with the different side effects. So the most common one is decreased appetite. Often people just starting out treatment, the unknown, the anxiety with the unknown of starting treatment can lend to a decreased appetite. So in this case, you want to aim for the high energy, high protein foods and focus on small but frequent meals. You want to make every mouthful count. So if you're not able to take in the quantity of foods that you're used to eating, you have to make the quality of the food present so that you can make every mouthful count. So before you eat anything, you have to think, how can I add more calories, more protein to this? Whether it's putting an extra thick layer of some kind of a spread or adding some protein in there, that's what you need to do to make it count. And you want to listen to your body. So if you don't have much of an appetite in the morning, you want to be nibbling on little something. And then once your appetite is a little bit better, say midday or later on in the day, you want to take advantage of that and eat a better meal at that time. You just have to focus on making every bite count. Fatigue is very common as well. Could be caused by disrupted sleep patterns, not eating regularly. If you have a decreased appetite, you may be skipping some meals, so that's going to lend to decreased energy levels. Or if you're just choosing the wrong foods, like if oftentimes people feel like they need a little pick-me-up, they'll go for a cup of coffee or a chocolate bar. Well, that's going to spike your energy temporarily, but then you're going to crash down and probably feel worse than you did before. So you have to make the effort to choose snacks, small amounts but frequently, and what you do choose needs to be something of value. So like half a bagel and a nut spread, or some yogurt and some fruit added to it, or some cheese and crackers. Those are going to stay with you much longer and fuel your body with a much even level than just by choosing quick little high sugar snacks. And you also want to conserve your energy for the important part, which is the eating part. So if you have friends and family that are offering to go grocery shopping for you or preparing meals for you, you certainly want to take advantage of that. Because so often I'll have people say, I make these great meals, but then I'm so tired I can't even bring the fork to my mouth. So you want to conserve your energy for the important part, which is the eating part. And there's lots of convenience foods available. There's lots of, like the fruit and vegetable market has lots of kiosks that have frozen prepared meals, and they're good, healthy meals that will get you by on those days where you just don't feel like making anything yourself. Sore mouth and throat. You want to be aware of your mouth, and as soon as things aren't feeling right, if you have a white coating on your mouth or you develop some ulcers, you want to let your doctor or nurse know so that they can prescribe you with some medications to cure up any thrush that you might have, or if you have any ulcers, sometimes you can get a topical anesthetic to put on the ulcers to make it a little easier, more comfortable to eat. But in terms of your foods that you're choosing, you want to focus on softer, moist foods so it just doesn't hurt to chew. Use extra gravies again and spreads with your meals to make it easier to chew and swallow. Avoid foods that are going to irritate your sensitive mouth. So those would be acidic foods like tomatoes and citrus foods. Really spicy foods can be a bother. Some people are irritated with really hot and really cold fluids, so be aware of that. And really important is to rinse your mouth with club soda. Club soda is just a perfect mix of salt and water, and it actually mimics the same pH as your natural salivas. So with chemo, when your mouth is dry, you don't have those natural salivas that are neutralizing the acids from food and in your mouth, so the environment of your mouth is disrupted, so you are at risk for getting a fungus, like a thrush, or ulcers. So the club soda just really helps keep your mouth clean and fresh, so to do that often. And making sure that you're drinking lots of fluids through the day is really important as well. So taste changes. This is just a big collection of different things you can try to improve the flavor of your food. I already spoke about the plastic utensils if things taste metallic to you. If you don't have any mouth sores, you can try sucking on a lemon wedge or sucking on really tart candies before you eat your meal. It can just help to mask any icky taste or metallic taste that you have in your mouth. Trying to experiment with all the many different condiments that are available depending on what kind of taste changes you are experiencing. Oftentimes using a sour type condiment like sour cream or cranberry sauce, those relish and dill pickles, those foods can help you taste your meats especially a little bit better. I certainly don't advise that you automatically reach for the salt shaker as foods start to taste a little bit bland. You want to have available on the table a product such as Mrs. Dash, which is a salt-free product, and it's much better for you. And there's about 5 or 6 flavors that company puts out, and actually says right on the bottle, good with chicken or whatever, to help guide you. And we certainly need you to drink as much fluid as you can, but water can taste horrible when you have a dry mouth or experiencing different taste changes. So you need to experiment with different water flavor crystals like Crystal Light. I actually took this picture about 10 years ago, and Crystal Light was the only product available at that time. But now there's a whole slew of products that you can try, like Nest Tea or Lipton Tea on the go, Gatorade, Kool-Aid has lots of good flavors. You want to focus on a flavor that's tart, and like cranberry or iced tea or raspberry. Those are really going to help give your taste buds a bit of a kick. Nausea and vomiting. Most important thing you can do to help manage your nausea and vomiting is taking the anti-nauseant medications that your doctor prescribes. An early sign of dehydration is nausea, so you want to, if you're feeling a bit queasy, you want to think back to how much fluid you've actually drank in the day, and you'll likely need to drink a little bit more. Small frequent meals, because obviously you've got a sensitive gut if you're having the nausea and vomiting, and focus more on the bland, light foods with little aroma. So colder foods are going to give off less aroma, so focus more on sandwiches, or this is a good time to be drinking smoothies or shakes, because you can get lots of protein and calories jammed into a little smoothie, and it doesn't take much effort to drink down a cup of a shake. Moving on to elimination problems now. Yeah, I've been through a lot of this just training my twins, so the potty, sitting on the potty, lots of time on the potty. Okay, so constipation certainly can be caused by a few different things. It can be caused by not enough fiber in the diet, or too much fiber in your diet, not enough fluids to flush it out. But more commonly with our cancer patients, it's caused by the use of narcotics. So if that's the case, not a lot you can do in terms of diet to help move the bowels. You do want to be using a stool softener and laxative to get your bowels moving. But in terms of diet, what you can do is make sure you're drinking lots of fluids, so minimum 8 to 10 glasses a day, if not more. Warm liquids help for some people. Drinking things like prune juice and eating prunes can be helpful as well. They add a good soluble fiber or insoluble fiber. And different sources of fiber foods, high fiber foods. But when you're adding extra fiber to your diet, you want to do this slowly, because too much fiber all of a sudden is going to be too much for your bowels, and you'll get really gassy and bloaty and uncomfortable. So your bowels need time to adjust with the extra fiber. So do it over a course of a week or so. And then exercise is always good to get your bowels moving. So whatever is manageable for you. Diarrhea, very important to be drinking lots of fluids to replace the fluids lost through the diarrhea. Again, you have a sensitive gut, so you want to be choosing the small, frequent meals. And avoid high fiber foods. So mostly it's the insoluble fibers that cause the problem. Those are fibers that don't absorb water. They kind of come out the way they went in, and they can irritate the bowel and actually stimulate the bowel. So foods like the prunes and the prune juice, popcorn, nuts and seeds, the skins of fruits and vegetables, and seeds and fruits and vegetables, those can aggravate and cause more diarrhea, so you want to limit those foods. High-fat foods are also a bowel stimulant, and really spicy foods. Also, beverages that contain caffeine. So coffee, even decaf coffee can be a problem for some people, and things like Coke and Pepsi with the caffeine in them. Even dark chocolates, they have enough caffeine to stimulate the bowel, and certainly alcohol is going to contribute to some diarrhea, so watch out for that. This is a really good book that I like to share with all my cancer patients. It's unique in that it's developed specifically for cancer patients going through treatment, and each chapter focuses on a different side effect, whether it's loss of appetite, sore mouth, taste changes, and then has a whole lot of really good recipes to support that particular side effect. Even better, it was developed by dietitians down in Princess Margaret Hospital, and you can get it at any bookstore. Order it offline at Chapters Indigo. It's a really good one. Nutritional supplements. Just a little mention on this one. Sometimes, even when you make every effort to add more calories and more protein to your diet, you just can't do it. Whether you're just too tired to prepare a meal, or perhaps you're at the center, at the Tom Baker Center, and you're not able to have access to food. Well, this is a good thing to have in your bag, just in cases for that. They're really good sources of protein and calories and essential nutrients, and great to supplement your diet to minimize your risk for losing weight. Ensure and Boost are typically the ones that people are more aware of because they're advertised. They are a milky texture, but they are all lactose free, so if you're sensitive to milk, you'll still be able to manage these. Wherever you buy these products, they will have their no-name brand. Often they're cheaper, but they're exactly the same as the Boost and Ensure. They do taste somewhat different. They're identical in makeup, but they're like Pepsi and Coke. You just got to choose the one that you like. Find the one that you like best. There's Carnation Breakfast is another alternative to add more protein and calories into your diet. It's a little bit different in that you mix it with fresh milk, and doesn't have quite the amount of vitamins and minerals that the Boost and Ensure do, and that is why people tend to like the taste of the Carnation Breakfast a little bit better. Specifically, it doesn't have the B vitamins in it, and that's what gives the medicinal taste to the Boost and Ensure. But it's a great way to sneak in some extra calories. There's about 360 calories and 14 grams of protein in each bottle, so it's a good chunk of food energy for you. If you don't want to go for that skim milk powder that I mentioned earlier to add more protein into your diet, there's lots of different protein powders that are available, and you certainly want to make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet to support your muscles and healing. This is the Beneprotein here. On the far right is the one that I typically recommend. It's 100% whey protein, which is a real high-quality protein, and that's all it is. You look on the ingredient list, it just says whey protein. There's no extra flavors or no extra sugar or hocus-pocus ingredients added. So it's a good one, and it's available in the pharmacies. So adjusting and recovering, you want to take care of your kidneys. The most important thing if you only have one kidney left, the most important thing you can do to preserve that kidney is to watch your salt intake. We certainly have an overuse of what's the word I'm looking for? Processed foods that are loaded in salt, so you want to get back to the basics. And the idea of clean eating is I really agree with this. There's lots of cookbooks out there revolved around clean eating, and it's just basically talks about going back to the basics and cooking with real food, and that will help minimize your intake of salt. Moderate protein is very important. Watch your limit, your intake of alcohol. If you happen to have suboptimal kidney function then and need dialysis, then you will be referred to a dietitian so that you're following the proper guidelines in that respect. So I've just put together a couple of the best foods, and this is a little bit repetitious from the previous talk, but it's always good to hear it twice. So choosing extra virgin olive oil, canola oils, flaxseed oils, walnut oils, those are all great sources of omega-3 fatty acids, and berries, mangoes, cantaloupes, sweet potatoes, red peppers, broccoli, all the brightly colored fruits and vegetables are loaded with cancer-fighting properties, so eat plenty of those. Green tea, garlic, turmeric, dark chocolate, they're also good sources of antioxidant. And I'm always talking about getting them through food sources, not through supplements. I'm a real pusher of getting your nutrition from foods, because certainly the benefit is only found when you're getting all your goodness from actual foods and not popping the pills. Beans, lentils, soybeans, all these legumes are becoming the new hot food. So be eating many more of those, and to substitute more meat meals with the beans and lentils. So in terms of cancer prevention, I'm not telling you to become vegetarian, but it's certainly a good idea to cut back on your meat intake and add more beans and lentils and more fish certainly into your weekly routine. Speaking of fish, salmon, tuna, mackerel, sardines, all these cold water fishes are great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. So to eat at least 2 to 3 sources of fish a week is really important. So in conclusion, you want to remember, watch your weight, make sure you don't lose too much, eat right and well when you can, and eat smart. So find solutions. If you're struggling, find out little tricks that you can use to get that food into you, because it's really important. And certainly you don't want to give up on eating, because it's a really important part of your treatment.